No! TikTok are stealing your data and spying on you. Do you mean like everyone else? Yeah, but they're also Chinese! Hello there, you 6.3 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining us on this voyage towards truth and freedom. The freedom is already within you. The truth is already out there. All we have to do is integrate these two things, not fall out with one another, and we'll finally have a machine capable of confronting systemic corruption. Turn on the notification bell right now. We make these stories every single day. We are informed by you. And today's subject is a particularly good example of how we have been educated by you. Because the last time there was a kangaroo court hearing around the behavior of big tech giants, we took a misstep thinking, oh, this is good, Facebook are going to be regulated. And then you pointed out in the comments, no. What's going to happen here is ordinary people will be controlled and blacklisted and observed, surveilled and spied on and banned. This is a trick. You were right back then, and I bet you will be right this time. Because apparently what's happening is there are congressional hearings to see if TikTok is spying on us and capturing our data. And of course they bloody well are. But so are all big tech organizations. And did you know that many of the people in Congress that are vocally criticizing TikTok literally accept money from TikTok? TikTok is a very bad thing and should be stopped, right? I like TikTok, actually, and really, should we just, have a sort of kangaroo court hearing and then say they can carry on but give us a slice of the pie? This is one of those stories that shows you how corruption and criminality within globalist politics is not a bug, it's a feature. It shows you why those mafia films, particularly The Godfather, are a great window into how American institutional life operates. Nice big tech business you got there. Be a shame if something happened to it. You give us a slice of the action. How many people watching this think that the ultimate result won't be you help us to regulate TikTok, you give us some sort of slice of the action, and we'll leave you alone? Is it really going to be an end to corruption? How? Who's the institution that's going to stop corruption? They're all corrupt themselves. You know that people in Congress own stocks and shares in the big tech companies that they're supposed to regulate. This is another example of that, except of course in this instance it's from a powerful international rival. So let's learn what's going on in those congressional hearings and the 3 or 4 main ways that this is total hypocrisy, total corruption, and how nothing meaningful will get done because the systems that are governing, administrating, and judging are totally corrupted.
The social media app TikTok came under very intense scrutiny yesterday on Capitol Hill.
Firstly, it's not TikTok, it's TikTok.
TikTok.
In other news, TikTok's just basically the same as all social media sites, but the people in charge are Chinese, though.
TikTok's chief executive was met with intense skepticism on Capitol Hill Thursday over the app's security and privacy practices.
We do not trust TikTok will ever embrace American values.
Of course they will. If those values are corruption, taking a piece of the action, surveilling ordinary people, banning dissenting voices, you're going to get along just fine. Let's stop pretending this is about anything other than, look, if you want to carry on with TikTok and give us some of that data and do our propaganda for us, just like all the other social media companies.
ByteDance is not owned or controlled by the Chinese government.
Oh, come on, guys. You're suggesting that the government and big tech organizations don't have deep state infiltration and the people at the state can't control the narrative, and if there were stories that were inconvenient to the government that you wouldn't stop them or censor them? Are you still talking about China and TikTok? Yeah, why? What did you think we were talking about? Hunter Biden laptop, Twitter files. I mean, I can't even produce enough coughs for the corruption.
Has ByteDance spied on American citizens?
I don't think the spying is the right way to describe it.
It's like Edward Snowden never happened. Have you been spying on American citizens? That is the worst, Edward Snowden, thing that's happened in the last few years only, and if it happened a few years before that, that was because of terrorism. But doing it now, though, that's what really smarts. I don't even like TikTok. TikTok, what does it mean all quick like that, just 30 seconds? It makes me feel old. Whether it's TikTok or Facebook or any of them fangam people, they're all spying on you, they're all capturing your data. Is there a way to end it? Here's a little guy that knows something about that, me earlier. Big thanks to today's video sponsor, Congressional. Another day, another story about data theft. It makes you think, who actually has access to your personal information? You might think it's a limited number of people, but the scary fact is that data breaches are happening more and more regularly. There are people out there profiting by trading your personal information. They're called data brokers, the bastards. There is a solution to help you remove your personal information from these databases. Thank God, imagine that. If you did this manually, try to get your personal information out of these databases, it would take you the rest of your life. You can instead use the tool that I use, Incogni, to do it automatically for you. It's a service that reaches out to the data brokers and manages the data removal process on your behalf. You create an account with Incogni, using my link below. You grant them the right to work on your behalf to remove the data from the broker's databases. It's that easy. The first 100 people that go to my link, incogni.com/Brad, will receive 60% off their first month with Incogni. That's incogni.com/brand. Okay, time now to get back to that other guy who's telling you how by decentralizing power we can change the world. Go on.
You damn well know that you cannot protect the data and security of this committee or the 150 million users of your app, because it is an extension of the CCP.
Also, there's the added advantage that this amplifies tensions between the United States and China. Just in case a proxy war with Russia isn't enough for you to worry about, let's get a proxy war with China started. It's another way of making us all scared all the bloody time, when probably the truth is that all big tech platforms are by their nature exploitative, all of them engage in surveillance, and even organisations like the CDC, after promising that they wouldn't, spied on 55 million people in ways they assured you they would not during the pandemic. Once again, there is no legitimate moral platform from which to make these judgments. That's why it sounds crazy. You know that what's likely to come out of something like this is the ability to censor ordinary people more, when what we want is the regulation of the company itself, their ability to bundle up and sell data, their ability to cooperate with the state. Presumably TikTok ain't cooperating with the American government in the same way other big tech companies are. What they want is for TikTok to censor on their behalf. The same for all social media platforms. What they should be pushing for is the ability to control the companies themselves. You lot, stop stealing people's data, stop spying on them. You can see why it's going to break down, because they are the partners. What they're trying to do is negotiate a better partnership with TikTok, so TikTok are more compliant in spreading their propaganda and preventing independent media, probably like us actually, from using social media sites to convey our message, to receive your stories, and to create alternative movements. Let me know in the chat and the comments if you agree with that.
I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data.
I find that actually preposterous.
This would only become more obviously propagandist if they started claiming that TikTok was somehow bad for kids and that this whole thing was in order to protect children.
The panel also probed what safeguards the app has to shield teens from harmful content.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
TikTok could be designed to minimize the harm to kids, but a decision was made to aggressively addict kids in the name of profits.
It's clear that the attempts to isolate TikTok from its competitors, to treat it differently than dozens of other companies with atrocious records for endangering kids and abusing private data, is a pointless exercise. Shouldn't be, but it is. The truth is that if TikTok were to vanish tomorrow, its users would simply flock to any number of other apps that have no qualms about surveilling the most private moments of their lives and amassing, manipulating and selling off sensitive information about them. Congress was handed ample opportunity to address concerns about children's minds being warped by social media more than a year ago, but when Facebook was caught creepily referring to preteen kids as a source of untapped wealth, Congress in response did nothing. So it's not about children. What they have to do is make the conversation about something that any sensible person would think was important in order to get on with their normal business of financial control and psychological domination. So privacy isn't the issue. Why would the government in particular not be interested in privacy? Possibly because they are more likely to spy on you than anybody else and have more power to spy on you than anybody else, and necessarily spy on you because they're not going to cater to your demands, requirements, or even democratic rights. Records show that the same politicians who've publicly attacked TikTok and voted to restrict its use have also accepted donations from top executives with TikTok and its parent company, ByteDance. So that shows that what they say means, well, sort of less than nothing, really. TikTok spent over $30 million lobbying the federal government since 2019, according to Open Secrets, including a record $5.4 million last year. ByteDance's spending on lobbying was reportedly the fourth largest among internet companies, behind only Amazon, Meta, and Alphabet. So other people that do exactly what TikTok do is Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta. So do you imagine they have a similar agenda? I mean, doesn't the institutional practice itself tell you what results it's likely to yield? In 2021, Sludge reported that 18 senators or their households own stock in the tech companies nicknamed Fangam for Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google, parent company Alphabet, Amazon, and Microsoft, valued at a minimum of $9.9 million and a maximum of $24.6 million. 3 senators with stock holdings in big tech are members of the Judiciary Subcommittee on Privacy, Technology, and the Law. 8 other senators whose households own shares in big tech are members of the Committee on Commerce, Science and Transportation, Subcommittee on Communications, Media, and Broadband, which has jurisdiction over the internet. So you have particular subcommittees with a responsibility for regulation of industries that have members that own stocks and shares in the companies that they're literally supposed to be regulating. Couldn't you, in 5 seconds, with the stroke of a pen, ban that forever? Every time they try and do something like that, though, of course, at the last minute, they insert a loophole going, it'd be better if we could carry on doing it in some more opaque way. Should we just insert a loophole? And then they, of course, all agree to that because ultimately they know they're all going to benefit.
Its parent company, ByteDance, is under investigation by the Department of Justice for alleged spying, and the Biden administration has threatened to ban TikTok unless it divests.
One of the main claims being made against TikTok is that they're spying on the American public. If you're going to spy on the American public, you better be American. The US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy people's data from third-party companies, SafeGraph and Cubic, who are in the business of tracking physical locations. So the CDC have definitely, demonstrably, literally done exactly that. But did they have a good reason? The CDC did this in a bid to check on how citizens were complying with lockdown and other COVID restrictions. One of these companies received $420,000 while the other deal was worth $208,000. The CDC was allowed to buy this data thanks to emergency rules enacted because of the pandemic. But the idea that that emergency was amplified and escalated and utilized in order to bring about new regulation or create opportunities for profit is a conspiracy theory, even if you can literally see those things happening. Don't trust your eyes or your own mind, trust the government. The data SafeGraph and Cubic are able to get hold of and sell comes from apps installed on phones. But that's different from TikTok because those apps are just, they're not Chinese. In SafeGraph's case, this information covered points like neighborhood patterns, revealing the frequency at which somebody visited a place of interest, as well as where they came to that place from and where they went from there. That sounds like spying to me. Well, all we did was install an app on your phone where we observed how you got from a place to another place, then where you went after that place. But other than that, you were free to do whatever you wanted to do without us looking at all. What are you doing now? Where are you going? Get that goddamn data. Cubic, meanwhile, sold its shelter-in-place index data set, and that reveals for how long a phone is inside a house, expressed in percentages, as well as the time people would spend in another state. The goal was to assess who was sheltering in place, as the authorities had mandated. Do you remember all the while through that pandemic, them telling you that wouldn't happen? Are you listening? That did happen. Are you seeing now that the entire congressional hearing around TikTok is totally hypocritical and will only lead to an ability for the state to propagandize TikTok more efficiently and censor ordinary users of TikTok more efficiently? What it will not lead to is more privacy for you. When they say they're going to protect you, they mean they're going to control you. When they say they care about you, they mean they want to regulate you. When they say they're concerned about TikTok, they just mean they want a slice of the action and the ability to control it like they presumably do all the other big tech companies that they own stocks and shares in while they regulate. All this stuff is palpable and observable. Anyone who tells you this is a conspiracy theory is interested in just some other version of the mainstream. Hey, that's conspiracy theory. What we should do, because we're more sensible and academic, is keep stuff basically the same because we're invested in this system too. These congressional hearings are a facade, a sham. It's beneficial to the state in a number of ways, escalating tensions between the United States and China, creating another platform that they can ultimately control, creating more cynicism and suspicion, capturing your data, utilizing it to their own ends like they've been doing with the other social media companies, like they did during the pandemic, like they said they wouldn't. What's required in order for this to end is real systemic change. And when I say that, of course, sometimes I think about radical ways where the world could be decentralized and there could be tribal, locally organized collectives and all sorts of different ways. But right now, what's not radical is you could ban people in Congress from owning stocks and shares at all. That would mean you'd only have people in Congress that were like, oh wow, I care so much about this, I'm going to give up my right to make money in the stock market. Is that too much to ask? Don't have political parties or Congress people or anyone involved in in politics receive lobbying money in any form. That would mean that they would be focused on their bloody job and do not allow political parties to be privately funded by large corporations. You could make those free laws tomorrow. They won't make those laws because that would mean meaningful change that would empower you. The Republicans won't do it. The Democrats won't do it. Nobody will do it because it would mean meaningful change, and change does not suit them, even though it does suit you. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat below. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at either of these. They're equally good. Turn on the notification bell and subscribe right now. We need you to receive these daily videos so that we can continue to grow with you. More important than any of that is that you please stay free.